was in a situation recently where I was with a group of women, and one woman was talking about her perimenopausal symptoms and some brain fog and things, and the other woman isn't having any of those, and basically told the other woman that it doesn't exist, that menopause is sort of in your mind, it's in your head, it's a state of mind. And I don't know, I really don't agree with that. I think it is a fact that some women don't have very many menopausal symptoms and they sail through it, and that's great. And I think that it's also a fact that many women don't, and they do struggle with perimenopausal symptoms or in the transition around the menopause. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong, and I don't think it's good to make someone feel bad if they are struggling and tell them it's down to them and it's their fault, because sometimes it isn't. It can be genetics. It can just be the way it is. Of course, there are lifestyle things you can do to improve menopausal symptoms, like a good nutritious diet with good protein and fats. Also exercising, not over-exercising, but being active, managing your stress, being in nature. There are certain supplements that can help as well. Of course, lifestyle does play a part. And I think it's important to consider that. It is something I look at with my patients. But I think what we really need is a bit more solidarity between women. And if you're not struggling, but you see someone who is, instead of effectively gaslighting them and telling them it's their fault they're in menopause or it's in their mind and they're making it up, perhaps it would be useful to share some of the things you're doing, which means that you're not having symptoms. So have you thought about this diet? I read this sort of exercise is quite helpful. And the other thing is, I do find you may not have perimenopausal symptoms, but when you go into menopause, you may have symptoms. I also think it's a bit unfair to be like, that doesn't exist. You haven't even been through it yet. It definitely exists. Definitely. People don't come to see me if they're not having serious issues with their menopause, if they don't feel like they can function, if it's affecting their mood, their sleep, their energy, if the hot flushes are unbearable, if they don't recognize themselves in the way they're acting. People wouldn't come to see me if it was a made-up thing. My job is not a made-up role. It's a real thing that does help people. But of course, not everybody does need to see me, and that's great. And that's fantastic for them. It really is. But if you are having symptoms, advocate for yourself, whether that's with your friends, your family, your doctor. It is a real thing. And I just wanted to say that. I hope that's helpful in some way. And I just think, let's just support each other as women more. Let's not turn against each other. Let's not make each other feel bad about what's going on in our lives. Sisterhood. Come on. We've got enough of that going on around the world. We can get that from so many outside sources. Let's support each other as women.